now that you have found this video somehow, uh, and here you are in the zone with me. My name is Akshay, and I am with Amandeep Singh, who joins us from some place in Poland. I'm not sure where, somewhere near Krakow, and I'm in London.
It's damn cold.
And yeah, we just want to introduce you to something that we have been thinking about, and I was also feeling like it's lockdown. We should just hang out and talk about stuff, and why not just let this conversation be public? If we talk about this kind of stuff with everybody, we might as well talk about it on a global level. Yeah. So my name is Akshay. I'm an artist. Aman works in the creative industry as a creative director and business director for like a digital marketing firm. We wanted a space for us to be able to talk about big ideas, interconnectivity of ideas, and also I feel like because we both have had a very strained creative journey, to be able to realize what we want to do. Because Aman used to be with me in engineering school, and now we are in completely different fields. I work in the fine arts, Aman works in the commercial space, but in the end we realize that it is just art connecting us, and it is art.
I think Akshay, a big shout out to Punjab, Patiala and Punjab University where we met. At least
Punjab University, Burra. Oh, it was one of the toughest and like one of the most inspiring places I have ever been to, I think, to live. It is so boring, but it is so awesome if you're with the right people, I guess. We wanted to make sure that everybody knows that this is an open conversation. This one is being recorded, but hopefully we will be streaming the later ones. And feel free to say anything, feel free to comment, feel free to write to us, feel free to ask any questions. If you're a creative who's struggling with something, or if you made something super cool, nobody's interested to show, bring it to us. Tell us that it was shut down in 10 places and we will give you a position. If you tell me and if you're ready to prove to me that you have been kicked out of 50 places, then we want to show it even more. So
that's amazing.
We want to show shit which people don't really see. We want to see new things. We want to be able to just have an interesting time. And like Aman, what is art for you? What do you want to see?
I think I've thought a lot about it, Akshay, and I think it boils down to one word. For me, art is connection, right? Because I realized that if I can connect through a piece of art, and it's like a bridge, it's like a medium for me, through 10 people from a different background, through different languages or different cultures. But I think art is that connecting factor, a piece of art, a piece of pictures, a piece of paintings, book. I think that's it for me. Connections with other people.
So it's connections, it's stories, it's like feeling a part of something bigger, maybe some sense of translation which is happening, somebody made something, and when you see it, you feel something, boom, right? We're ready to move through. And we can, the reason why we wanted to make this show is because it's taken us so many years, at least it's taken me so many years to really try to come to an understanding that what is art. Because we sometimes just make stuff. We sometimes want to make specific stuff. Sometimes we are really struggling in this specificity. But actually, the fact of the matter is that I really feel like that it is all very open-ended. Sometimes we just need to chill out, have a conversation with the homies, and try to understand that there are different ways of looking at the same thing, and everything can be spoken about, everything can be shared. If you think that you have some secret work which you have been making for 15 years and it is like the best fucking thing on the planet, and maybe it is for you, maybe it isn't for everybody else, because you realize when you come out that 50 people have done it before you in the exact same fashion, and you're also looking for identity in the same ideas. We're like turning up to 5 minutes. Aman, you're the man about structures, you're the man about systems. Tell us about this art, culture, history, all this engagement.
Yeah, I'm so sorry because I know a lot of people, especially creative people, hate presentations. But then I think we have tried to keep it very simple. But the idea is that everything needs to be put down into a framework, and that's what we're trying to do here in this episode. And I think Akshay, if what we see on the slide is, and this is a result of the conversation which we are having, right? History, art, converting to a practice, profession, community, culture, and that tensity and that tension between the culture and the orientation. I mean, the orientation keeps changing because of this tension. So essentially, it's like a cycle, right? And that's what we're trying to say. And I think, Akshay, you should speak from a creative point of view that what does this mean, right, for you as an artist?
There is like Alexa or Siri or something going off in the middle.
I'm so sorry about that. Shut up, Siri.
Alexa wants to know. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just say this very simple thing that there are a lot of people who are really wondering that what the fuck are they watching? What is this? What is this conversation? Why am I listening to two dudes? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, we are just trying to share with you a simple philosophy of how we look at things. And as a creative individual, it might be interesting for you to share that thought and maybe share with us like how you think, right? But we're going to be talking about this idea that what is art? What exactly is this action of art, right? We're going to be talking about that once you start doing art and once you start practicing it every day, every whatever occasion, then it becomes an art practice. It's not a singular event, a singular creative decision, right? Mm-hmm. Once that happens, then a lot of people start doing it, right? Maybe enough people start doing it that it starts to be interesting to other people, right? Mm-hmm. It could be like, okay, I make this poster for myself. A friend comes home, sees, oh, this is a great poster. Can I also have one? 15 other people see it. They also want one. It just became a cultural thing. There's a small community which is developing around this idea. So first you start making art, then you start practicing it, then it started to kind of rise up in this small community, right? Once this community understands it, it starts to take that, and because there's so many people involved in it, now it can be commodified. Okay, whatever it was, right? Lots of people are making posters, so I can sell paint. Lots of people I can sell paper. I can do a show about it, right? It becomes like a professional space. Now, this professional space is also in engagement with the community because it serves this community, right? This profession serves this community. And this community, in the end, grows and engages with other communities and creates this cultural thing, whatever this is, right? Yeah. Now, this culture is not stagnant. This culture is constantly shifting. It is trying to fight within its internal parts for identity, for importance, or like for dominance in terms of philosophy. Mm-hmm. And then this is just messed up, like it's going in all directions. And this messed up going in all directions creates a cyclical structure, which kind of like is like zoom. It goes back into these artistic decisions, right? It's very simple. It's very much like what just happens.
Exactly. And actually, I think the point we're trying to make here is, and I think we'll go example by example, just to show you that we can talk about anything at all, whatever you see around you. And we have picked up something very, very random. And we'll show you that how this entire circle comes full down to like a 360-degree kind of thing, right? And actually, let's dive into this interesting example you have.
Okay. Shout out to this guy in Gandhi, Nagar, the barber I used to go to. My mother used to say, why do you keep going to him? But he used to flatter me a lot, saying my hair is very beautiful and that I look like a weird horror Hollywood film hero, which is like a really weird reference to give. It was with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the same movie. He was like in some devil house, whatever, right? We're going to talk about like this idea of hair. Aman, you have long hair now. I trim my hair whenever I feel like I need to go to the barber. So just trying to talk about hair, but we'll, instead of like starting at the root of the hair or like basic decisions or whatever, we'll just start, right? So there's one, like, cutting your hair is a creative decision. It is a decision which has no function, because you can tie your hair, like Aman has tied his hair, right? Or you can push it back or whatever, but haircut is a purely aesthetic decision. And we can just start off with like just a weird haircut. I remember like Basquiat had like this very weird haircut, and I don't know if you know his work, but oh wait, you're wearing the t-shirt, right? You're wearing the Basquiat t-shirt.
I love this guy, and I think a big shout out to him and a big shout out to this Polished brand which sells t-shirts, which has his entire collection on a piece of cloth. I think it's amazing.
Well, I think that it'll be interesting to see because we're talking about hair, we're talking about Basquiat, and like the hair is kind of influencing this t-shirt also right now, right? This dude is very well known for his hair, but he's also very well known for his work, which is is very interesting. It is very rough. It is very brilliant, right? You have to look it up. We have the links in everything, right? So, okay, you have this guy who's made a certain decision, whereas somebody else is making a certain different decision. Do you know that guy from TikTok, right? So, like this dude from TikTok is making,
I think long hair.
yeah, in India, or like while researching for this, I also found out like this guy in India who's not cut his hair for 40 years. He's not washed it for 40 years, and it's like a mat on top of his hair. It is crazy, right? What people will do. Like this picture is shot by Steele-Perkins. I think that's his name. He's from Magnum Photos, and he shot these boys. This is shot actually in 1917, but the weird part is that this movement had already started in 1950. And when I was showing you this picture, you were telling me about like this bad boy culture.
Yeah,
right?
And I think Akshay, there is a big community here. Sorry, I'm talking about communities because it seems you can't have a conversation without communities. I'm sure you must have seen this beautiful show called Peaky Blinders on Netflix.
No.
And the moment I saw, I think it's about these gangsters, like a family, like a gypsy family in UK, back in olden times. It's a story about them. But I think this picture, immediately reminds me of those guys because every time I watch it, I'm just looking at their haircuts and they're back in fashion, but amazing.
If you remember what happened when we had this Salman Khan movie, Tere Naam, that was like a cultural moment right there, right? And
we have a Salman Khan fan in the house, guys. So big shout out to Salman Khan and Akshay Bhatt.
Okay, no, I take the shout outs back then. But yeah, like, you know what? I can't deny that dude that what he did was a cultural revolution. That is truly there. Yeah. This in the same research, I found like women in China in this village where they don't Guangxi village. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm sure. And they don't cut their hair and they have really long hair. It reminds me of Rumpelstiltskin. No, that lady with the pillar. She's on the tower and she has like this long hair.
Yeah.
Like very fairy tale-ish, right? And also like such amazing creative decisions taken in clothing. So what we are seeing here is that these artists or these individuals are making certain decisions to personify maybe a part of their lifestyle. They're making identity decisions on how exactly should my haircut be. And this haircut is then seeping through culture, like different cultural people are accepting this identity. This amazing picture
I love this.
Is from Nigeria. Damn, right?
It's like a piece of architecture or like a metal frame. I don't know, right? It's beautiful.
It's insane. This guy goes around in 1968. Ojekere. Okay, I'm surely like killing that word. Definitely. I'm sorry, so sorry. But big up, like full respect to this guy. And he goes and photographs all of these people in different communities, haircuts and like hairstyles. Fantastic work, right? And you really start to think about, is it just about the hair anymore? It's about something else, right? Hair has become a representation for like space. It has become a representation for like experimentation, for like identity, for community. It's everything all together. I love that about history.
And Akshay, I think because I also work with few brands who are into hair care. And just to, I'm sure everybody knows that every time you go to supermarket, you buy so much stuff for your hair. The hair care and the regrowth of hair is like billions and billions and billions of dollars of industry, which is fueling the capitalist engine, basically. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, just take a moment and think about that.
It's crazy. It's crazy how you think that a creative decision can fuel something bigger. Right? And sometimes you and I have like arguments about it, especially when you want like ideas for like commercial pitches, because I sometimes feel like I used to feel like, oh, they are different things, but ideologically they're actually coming from like the same unknown zone of like just experiment and like trying to do something new. And we've been doing it for so long. Like this is a picture actually from somewhere late 1800s, like very early 1900s, by the American artist Edwin Weeks, and this is Indian Barbers in Saharanpore, and like this is 120 years old now. And if you went to Chandni Chowk in Delhi, or if you went to a small town, this is very easy to find still, like barbers just on the street. And you said there was something called Under the Flyover.
Oh, I remember we used to call it UFO. And guys, if you've not been to India, it's a very common sight. Under the flyovers or wherever these guys can find a spot, there would be like just one wooden chair, one mirror, and there's a guy who's like barber who's giving a haircut or a shave to different people. It's fascinating, right? It's fascinating.
But I also
pictures.
Yeah, and it also like I used to live in New York before this, and the barber shops there are like a real community hot zone. You just hang out in that place. Even if there's nobody getting a haircut, you just go and hang there. And actually, once I went there to a haircut for getting a haircut, and this dude would not give me a space because he thought I just came to hang out. He was like, I didn't know that you wanted a haircut. I thought you were just hanging out here. Like I was just kept sitting there. It was really funny.
Akshay, it just reminds me, when we were in Amsterdam, all of us guys, a couple of years ago, we had got together on this Europe trip. We had everybody from the college, and one of our friends, he went to take a haircut in Amsterdam, and it was I think Turkish community, and I think he just opened up because he went there and he realized it's not a haircut. It's like you're saying, a social club, a social hub. He actually made friends there. And he started hanging out with them. Just imagine, they couldn't speak a word of English. This guy couldn't speak any of their language, not Arabic.
It is what is connecting them on some level of comfort, saying that this is the place to come and talk about stuff. This is the place where creative decisions are made. I guess in some deep way, right? Have you, like, we have to show this image from like the Colombianas,
I love
Chicanas. Mexican urban teens photographed by Stephen Ruiz, and like baller, kick-ass photographs. You have to check out this project if you haven't. And just like that is a daring decision right there. Like that is a real identity defining decision. I love it.
I think Akshay, like immediately one thing happens to come into my mind is that all these gangs, right, all these cartels, they, for example, have a tattoo, right? Every cartel has a tattoo and a symbol.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? We could talk about tattoo for this entire episode, but hairstyle, tattoo, this is like a belonging, like an identity. It's also a safeguard that when somebody sees his hairstyle, he knows he's from that cartel or a gang, and nobody says anything to you, or you could get killed for that hairstyle too, right?
Yeah, like I think Snoop Dogg has said that in many of his songs. You have to listen. If you want reference, please listen to Snoop Dogg. Yeah. It's so cool. It's if you really start to break down, everybody who is doing anything interesting in the world is following a creative thought process, right? And I think the best baller way to define it is this dude, Nazim Ali, I think his name is. Nazim Ali in Sahiba and Sahiba Salon, who basically lights up people's hair just to make a point. So I remember when I used to work in like a professional space, there was like this, or at least when we were in engineering, there was this deep desire of thinking out of the box, right? And there is like a lot of these conversations, like a million books on like how to think out of the box. Like I think it's very interesting to note that what is out of the box for a profession is not out of the box for a creative artistic individual. His decision is not necessarily driven by the most functional desire to give you beautiful soft hair in the most conventional sense. He is like, the hair is destroyable, it will grow again, no problem, right? Number two, you've come here for an identity charging process of some sort, which will just forge this new thing for you. And number three, it is extremely interesting to participate or watch it. Right?
Exactly. And I think Akshay, great point here is, and I'm sure a lot of you must be watching a lot of videos on TikTok and Instagram, and you must have seen this guy who uses axe to cut your hair. And I think, like I was talking about this consumerism, right? Right now, the world we're living at, where people have stopped talking about utilitarian things, like haircut is a utility tool. But now what brands sell is an experience. So for example, this guy is giving you an experience. It's not about the haircut as a utility, right? It's the experience, and that space of experience is now giving artists and creative people a lot of opportunities to come experiment, and people are going to pay you a lot of money for that experience. Like this dude right here is giving you one.
It's crazy, right? I was trying to research hair, and I found so many pictures of this dude. This guy is like famous everywhere.
Celebrity.
Right? And yeah, and I've started to also think about how once you understand that this decision is changing perception, this is a creative decision which is doing something, right? Now, everybody who goes to a hairstylist knows that it does something, but maybe they're not able to voice it, right? No problem, right?
Yeah.
But if you can kind of understand that these traditions, you can really create like a image. Now, I don't know if you heard this, but there was an album. It was called "Tu Meri Miss India" by Babu Maan, right? And that album was released in, I think, 2003, right?
And just to tell you guys, this guy, two guys you're looking on the screen right now, if anybody in music industry in last 10 to 15 years, we have this thing in India and in Persia, and every time we talk about somebody who's a legend, like a guru, we always like touch our ears. That's like a respect of thing, and that's why when I see his picture, automatically my hands go like this. He's like a legend.
Babu Maan is an icon. He's the man. He's the man, the machine, who also gave us six packs in videos, which were like incredible. To the lover boy who goes to Canada, he is like a wide range of portfolio of music. Very interesting stuff. But what I wanted to really talk about is this image which he produces of himself, right? Which was actually it was very contemporary for that time, for this individual, especially a Punjabi singer, to go bare-chested, long hair in like the industry. It was a very strong creative decision, I feel, and especially with the soft boy kind of look which he was going for, right?
Because see, Akshay, and we are also talking about Jazzy B, who revolutionized the Punjabi music altogether. Now, the point which I'm thinking right now, since you're talking about this, and I never thought about this, and let me be very honest about that he, for example, Babu Maan, he's a great writer, right? Everybody knows that. His songs are not songs, but it is philosophy, right? But still, a guy who's a philosopher, whose major artistic thing is writing, or let's say singing, he still needs to make a statement with his hair to stand out, right? Why is that? Have you ever thought about that?
I have thought about that. There is, when you look in this image, there is a sense of expectation of legions, like sense of expectation of community, right? This is the kind of this is the kind of philosophy you're going to listen to. This is the kind of atmosphere which I'm going to set. I think it sets a precedence of like, here I am. It's also, I feel like it's very strong in Jazzy P. Jazzy P is on the right. This guy was deeply inspired by the UK garage scene and like brought some very interesting, amazing fusion into India. And you can see that even though he's very Punjabi, he's very Desi, but he never really lets there is a merge of identity, something new emerging which did not exist before, right?
I think he came with like those big hairs and buns, and then he started doing these weird hairstyles. And I think from last 20 years, ever since I remember from my childhood, with every album he has a new hairstyle, and people expect him to have a new hairstyle, and people follow him. So again, he's a great singer, he's a revolutionary musician, he has changed the industry just like Babu Maan, but he still uses hair to make a statement, right?
Definitely. And you would realize that the more the power of a creative individual grows, the more details people will pick up, right, with regard to what is happening, what is not happening. Like I want to jump off to The Weeknd. Right now, this is another individual who played with hair. If you saw our first slide, it's exactly the same hair as Basquiat, and he also used his hair for like to talk about ideas of transformation, to talk about ideas of identity, of influence. What is the kind of stuff that I listen to, and where am I going with it all, right? And at the same time, like this is very important to remember. I'm naming all these people because they looked interesting in our slideshow, but it is done on every day. Every individual does it, right? And it is done in fine art. Like we have to talk about Frida Kahlo of how she uses this decision of not removing the hair from the monocro, which is like the conventional idea, how she uses it as a power tool so to say something about feminism, about strength, about independent identity, and about independent exploration, right? And she's gone on to become like such an incredible legendary figure. And Aman, like it is the same, right? Everything which has come down from art and every decision is now making a difference, and it's the same in politics, right?
Absolutely. And I know we love to watch Donald Trump, and one of the reasons I love to watch him is because of his hair, right? Now, if you see traditional politics right now, right, everybody has a very simple haircut, because I think the idea is that these guys don't have any time, so you keep it simple, right? If you see Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg, they have like normal hair, they wear the same clothes because they don't want to spend time in taking those decisions. But look at these two guys. I mean, your honorable prime minister and this guy. I mean, I think, because I have long hair, I think it must be taking like at least 30 minutes for a hairstylist or for them to style their hair with whatever shit they're doing. But I think it's amazing. And to look at these pictures, Akshay, like I think we were discussing before, we wouldn't have seen these pictures a few years ago. It was not allowed or it was not accepted. It was a conduct. But right now you see him, I mean, their hair are like, I don't know, they're like news, right? Trump's
they
hair
are news. Like I think you can find like at least 1,000 articles right now on Trump's hair.
Serious.
Right? Well, like essentially what we want to say is with this lecture series that we're going to do is that you can, if you really start to think about any action, right, you can really break it down and you can try to understand where that action comes from, what is the meaning of that action, how does it make somebody else feel, how does it make me feel, and what does it do in a society. Every decision makes a certain change, and how does that change follow through. And if you're able to understand that, then you can use this creative drive to achieve whatever you're looking for. Either it might be a creative practice, it might be something which you want to do in terms of making a brand, something you want to do for exploration, academic purpose, or research, or something you just want to do because you're bored.
No, absolutely, and Akshay, and I think a key takeaway, like, you showed that framework in the beginning and we discussed that, maybe we should bring it back. But I think the point we're trying to make is that everything ultimately starts with a piece of art, right? Which could be self-expression or whatever, right? And it percolates through that vicious circle, right? Which never ends, which makes history and the rebel and the culture and the community. And this is exactly the same thing which we're trying to say. If you're a content creator, if you're a celebrity, if you're any artist, if you're in the world of branding, that you make a statement which is in lines with the culture, which has been created again, remember, from the piece of art, or you're trying to be a rebel, right? So this is the space you play in as an artist, and the space is not going to change. Only the context is going to change, right?
Absolutely. And a lot of people are like, oh, there's nothing left in art. Art is very saturated. Art has, art world has failed, or that a lot of people are frustrated. They cannot get into an art, an art profession, or they're not getting awards, or they're not able to jump forth, into whatever they're doing. The fact of the matter is, I have found in my personal experience that the only thing which really helps is talking to people, showing your work, looking at work, and to be able to understand what you're doing, and then to be able to solve these problems which you're facing. Because, this is what we do as humans. We make stuff. You have been making stuff. We've been making stuff. We just need to show it to each other and to be able to understand what exactly is it that we do, and also to support each other. If you have internet now in today's world, and if you're not making and showing work, and if you're not participating in these conversations, then I feel like you are just making the journey way harder for yourself. Because in the end of the day, what you're looking for might be exactly the same as this larger community of people. Yeah. Aman, do you want to tell us about a little bit about what else are we going to do in the show? Because we're now out of time. But do you want to tell us about the language part for people listening in, with regard to if they want to send you some feedback, or they want to, if they cannot understand what is being said because it's in English, Aman is going to just quickly give a synopsis in Punjabi.
Yeah. तो सत श्री अकाल सब नू ते जो पॉइंट मैं कहना चाहना है कि if ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਕੀ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਇੱਥੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਰੈਫਰੈਂਸਿਸ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਵੈਸਟਰਨ ਵਰਲਡ ਦੀ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਐਂਡ ਅਕਸ਼ੇ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਲੰਡਨ 'ਚ ਹੈ, ਨਿਊਯਾਰਕ 'ਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਰੈਫਰੈਂਸਿਸ ਗਲੋਬਲੀ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਬਟ ਦ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਾਣਾ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਹੋ, ਇਫ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਟੈਂਟ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਰ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਬਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਉਹ ਰੂਮ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਕਮਰਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਬੇਲੀ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਆਪਾਂ, ਇਹ ਉਹੀ ਕਮਰਾ ਹੈ ਬਟ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਹੈ ਰਾਈਟ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਪੈਂਡੇਮਿਕ ਐਸੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ, ਕੋਈ ਸੁਜੈਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਲਿਖੋ, ਹਿੰਦੀ ਚ ਲਿਖੋ, ਵੀਡੀਓ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਕਰਕੇ ਭੇਜ ਦਿਓ ਯਾਰ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਮੈਸੇਜ ਭੇਜ ਦਿਓ ਯਾਰ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ, ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਮੈਗਜ਼ੀਨ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਇਫ ਯੂ ਰਿਮੈਂਬਰ ਰਾਈਟ, ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਮੈਗਜ਼ੀਨ ਲਾਂਚ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, ਆਪਾਂ 2 ਐਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਦ ਬਿਗੇਸਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੀ ਲੋਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਵੀ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆਰਟੀਕਲ, ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਦੇਖੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫਰਮਾਇਸ਼ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਰਤੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਫਰਮਾਇਸ਼ ਵੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਕਿ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਿਓ ਤੇ ਸੋਚੋ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਨੈਟਵਰਕ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ, ਇਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੈ, ਮੈਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਚ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਜਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਹੈਲਪ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਆਓ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਦੱਸੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ।
ਅਕਸ਼ੇ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜੋ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਟੈਕਸਟ ਅਗਰ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਕੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਲੈਟਸ ਸੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਮੂਸੇਵਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਬੱਬੂ ਮਨ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੇ ਕੰਟ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਸਿੰਗਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਮਤਲਬ ਐਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਾਣੇ ਲਿਖਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਾਣੇ ਗਾਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਰਾਈਟ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਜਰਨੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਐਵੇਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਰੈਂਡਮਲੀ ਕੋਈ ਗਾਣੇ ਗਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਉਹਨੇ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਮਝੀਆਂ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨੇ ਕੰਟੈਕਸਟ ਸਮਝਿਆ, ਉਹਨੇ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਰਿਬੈਲ ਬਣਿਆ ਜਾਂ ਉਹ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਵਾਟਐਵਰ ਜੋ ਉਹਦਾ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਆਫ ਵਿਊ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਇਹ ਜਰਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਇੰਨੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਗਾਣੇ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਨੇ। ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਦੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਸਿੰਗਰ ਬਣਨਾ, ਬਟ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਟੈਲੈਂਟ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਹੋਵੇ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ, ਐਂਡ ਸੋ ਵੀ ਗੋਣਾ ਕਮ ਬੈਕ and I'm just going to say that we're going to have a lot of people for you to meet here. There's going to be Amandeep Singh. Aman is going to be joining us for a lot of these calls and like depending on his availability, a lot of these lectures. He is the business director for VLMYNR. Yes. Digital company for marketing. We're going to be joined by Ziyad Gauri, who's like a producer and a photographer and also runs Chroma. We're going to be joined by Natasha Sumant, who is the founder and the lead ideator, I guess, for Gundi Studios, and she's going to be coming online. Then we're going to have Cristias Rosas from Peru, who's going to be talking about his photographic practice, and he just did a recent large retrospective show about his work. And lastly, we are also going to have one more dude. Do you know Aman, who this person is?
I don't know, but it seems you have already covered all the continents, right? It's super interesting. I'm so excited.
And we are also going to have like one super amazing person. Her name is Mazia. She's going to be joining us from Milan or New York. Wow. I'm not sure. And she's going to be talking about the recent commercial campaign she has done with photography for champagne companies to talking about fine artwork which she's been selling in galleries from New York to Milan, everywhere. And we're going to be talking to everybody, and also now we have on the crew officially Daytimers UK, and we're going to have music sets from them for every show. Like this one is curated by yours truly, these homies right here.
Awesome.
But from the next set we're going to have some really good people, and also we're going to be joined by Andheri Ka Kubrick for one episode. Shout out to him for like a visual show. So we're going to be putting all of this stuff out in the next few weeks, and so we'll see you then.
I think it was great, Akshay, and I really look forward. We'll see you in the next episodes. Goodbye for now. Sat Shri Akal. Namaste to all the homies back home.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.
Okay. We missed on saying something very important.
Yeah, right. I think Akshay, you were. It's very important because you need to tell people what to read, what are some references.
Acha, so this is the vibe. Okay, QuamiCollab is going to share with you everything that we are reading. If you are in the creative space, if you want to read something, if you want to orient yourself, you basically can do it by just looking at other people's work, right? It's something which I think a lot of people are a little hesitant about is why should I look at other people's work? Creativity comes from me. I am the artist. I make shit, right? It's very nice. Is whatever you're saying is correct. The only problem is most of the artistic practice does not have words, so it's very hard to explain what you're trying to say to somebody else, right? And these references kind of allow you to say, I'm trying to get somewhere there, but not really, right?
Yeah.
How do you learn that? Okay, the first reference for the first show we have is like The Story of Art and 30,000 Years of Art. These two books are published by Phaidon. They are not that expensive, and they're like just coffee table books. I would not have touched this maybe 7 years ago. I would have been like, oh, this is like a tacky coffee table book. But actually, it is just because the data is so generic, because it's been so proven. You know, this research is very solid. Go look into it, look at what they have to say about the history of Western art primarily, but also Asian cultures. And at least you have a point of reference that something was happening here and something was happening here, whatever, right? The second is John Berger's season of like the show called Ways of Seeing. It was originally made by BBC4 in 1972. You can watch it free on YouTube. It is about just the act of perception, how we approach art, how we see art, everything about just as a common layman, how do you read art, right? The next is if you're sitting at home during lockdown, because there's lockdown in London now, Poland, I don't know what's happening. But I know it's going to be locked down for some time, at least till we repair the situation. Google Arts and Culture has a lot of museums, has a lot of content on it. You can go online, you can just check it out. If you're also a creative who is struggling with their creative practice and direction, I get sometimes emails asking, hey, I'm feeling creatively just very stressed. I don't know where to go. This is a great book for you. It's called Letters to a Young Poet by Rilke. It is also available freely online if you just look for it, and you should be able to find it and just read it. It has these different responses which are very, 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 very supportive, right? And my last reference for today is because we used a lot of photography in explaining our idea, so I'm going to put forward this photography. The Genius of Photography, again, by BBC4. It is 6 episodes, 1 hour each. And if you find it, you can find it on YouTube, or you can try to find it in other places, wherever, make an effort, right? And you can probably find it. It's a great series to watch. It'll be able to align you with like the general trend of what photography has been till now. And just last is, we're going to be releasing the references of whatever we've spoken about today in a document attached with the video or in the credits section. So just like pause it, read through. Also, if you want to know more about Aman's and my work, like our credentials, what have we done, find us on Instagram, find us on our website. We are not hard to find, that's for sure. So find shit, share shit with us. We're very interested.
Absolutely. And
right,
guys, please ask questions. That is the whole point of this. Please give suggestions, ask questions, discuss things with us. We are open for it, right? That's the whole point.
All right. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. QuamiCollab.